Hello, you're watching special reports here on TVRI World. This evening we come to you live from the capital Jakarta, Indonesia, with a coverage of the evening of the drawing of the ballot number for the three pairs of presidential candidates that will be contesting for the upcoming simultaneous general election here in the country. We'll bring you live pictures from the office of the Election Commission here in the capital Jakarta, as well as live reports and in-depth conversations here in the studio. I'm Rahmat Idris. This is the special report. On to our first report of the evening. The General Election Commission has officially set the three pairs of presidential and vice presidential candidates running for the 2024 election.
Gerakan Indonesia Raya.
The chairman of the General Election Commission or KPU, Hashim Asyari, has officially declared the presidential and the vice presidential candidate pairs for the 2024 election. The announcement was made after the KPU conducted a closed plenary session on Monday, November 13. The KPU stated that the three pairs of the presidential candidates, Anies Amin, Ganjar Mahfud, Prabowo Gibran, meet the requirements and they declared as the presidential and the vice presidential candidate pairs for the simultaneous 2024 election. The KPU stated that the result of the verification of the administrative documents and the health examination shows that the three pairs of the presidential candidates are deemed qualified. The three pairs have also met the requirements of 20% of seats in the House of Representatives or DPR, or 25% of valid votes nationally.
In the meantime, Commissioner of the General Elections Commission, or KPU, Idam Holik, said election serial numbers for the presidential and vice presidential candidates pairs will be determined through a drawing system. Commissioner of KPU Idam Holik said on Friday the drawing of serial numbers for presidential and vice presidential candidates are stipulated under Article 235 verse 2 of Law number 7 of 2017 about elections. The determination of the serial numbers for candidate pairs is conducted through the drawing system in an open plenary session of KPU. The drawing of the serial numbers will be witnessed by all three pairs of presidential and vice presidential candidates. The drawing will be held today or a day after KPU officially announced all candidates who have gone through document verification and medical examination. Well, this evening, the General Elections Commission, or KPU, will draw the serial number, or rather the ballot numbers, for the three pairs of presidential and vice presidential candidates that will contest next year for the upcoming presidential elections here in the country. And to get analytical perspectives on each of the three pairs of candidates, we're going to be in conversations with the state law academic Nicholas Simanjuntak and also a researcher at the National Research and Innovation Agency, Wasisto Raharjo Jati, both joining us virtually via Zoom application. I'd like to say hi and very good evening to Mr. Nicholas Simanjuntak. Good evening to you, sir.
Good evening, all audience. Thank you,
Mr. Nicholas, for joining us. And also another good evening to our next guest, Wasisto Raharjo Jati. Mr. Wasisto, good evening to you. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening, Mas Rahmat. Thank you for having me today.
Right. So this is quite a night. After yesterday, the names have all been announced and confirmed by the Commission of Elections. And per this evening, gentlemen, the latest visuals that we've received from the front yard of the KPU office is the fact that it's been crowded by potential voters and also supporters of these three pairs of candidates. I'd like to go first with questions and a response from both of you. To Mr. Nicholas first, what can we expect from this evening's events of the drawing of these numbers?
Of course, it is the very beginning of the very long a very long journey to to our election process on this period. So on this session is just the show of what we call it, maybe just a kind of show of force from the supporters of the whole candidate of president and vice president, and so they will make a very significant impression to the people that the people, what we call it, may support who they declare to be the president candidate and the vice president candidate. So it is just the very beginning of the long journey of the road to be new president and new vice president. It is not quite significant in the legal aspect from this. Instead of just like what we call it, like a show of force only in societal aspect only. That is I saw at the moment, and such kind of about several days behind before today. This I think, yeah.
Right, right. So great analysis there, Mr. Nicholas. I'd like to go over with the same question to Mr. Wasisto. How do you perceive tonight's events of the drawing of numbers? What should we expect?
I think the drawing of number also show how the pair showing their optimism, showing their enthusiasm, and showing their courageous to compete in the next election. And sometimes the drawing the number also uh, can be a signal how the pair can capitalize the meaning of the number. For example, one often linked to the victory, two also the same meaning, and three also how pair can mean this as the uh, you know the optimism as well. So I think this drawing number is the first step how the candidate can enhance their electability, enhance their popularity through the number, Mas Rahmat.
Right. So that's a unique point of view there, and undeniable too, Mr. Wasisto, because we believe that there is a philosophy behind each number. So that's why probably a certain pairs would would target for a specific number, either 1, 2, and 3. And you've started your early analysis on what each of the number means. But 1, 2, 3, do you think? I'd like to go to Mr. Nicholas first. Is there a bad number here from all of these three choices?
Yes, that is such kind of our mythology of of aspect in our society. Yeah? What is the meaning of the number? Number is just number only. The most important is the quality of the candidate itself and the supporters. But in societal means, it is quite quite important, maybe, such kind of show to perform to convince the people that their candidate is truly and truly supported by the people and truly being the candidate to be taking the victory in the at the end of this process of election. That's the reality. So this session, this we call it this facts and these events, this today event, I mean, is just between reality and myth, mythology only. So, since in the law of sense, the myths is not quite respective in the law aspect, but only the reality, and then how this event of the reality of event can be aggregated and crystallized into the government policy decision making and regulation. So it is not regulation in this event, but this event may we call it is just implementation of the very beginning of the election process for the long period and long journey in the days ahead.
Right. So
This
this is
is what
just
I see.
another phase that we are going to go through in terms of the simultaneous general elections for the upcoming February the 14th, 2024. On that note, I'd like to go over very quickly to Mr. Wasisto before we go with another report. So if there is no bet number per se, Mr. Wasisto, do you think that there is the best choice here for one of these three pairs to aim to achieve in terms of the drawing number and the power behind a certain number?
Well, I think that since our political condition is irrational currently, so the number is also matters, Mas Rahmat.
Okay.
Sometimes we edit superstitious thing to make the more story behind the number. For example, how we can relate number one linked to the religion, or maybe number two linked to the other things, and also number three as well. So I think the pair are likely to have link and match the meaning between the number and the current conditions, something like that, Mas Rahmat.
Right. Or maybe simply just to make it easier to pose for a photo when you can point a certain number of fingers to show your support for a certain pairs of candidates. But in the meantime, we're going to take a look at another report coming in. Gentlemen, please stay with us here on the program. The General Elections Commission, or KPU, says the three pairs of presidential and vice presidential candidates will be witnessing the drawing for the pairs' election serial numbers.
Yes. Okay.
KPU announced on Monday that three pairs of presidential and vice presidential candidates have passed document verification and also passed the medical examination. The three pairs of candidates are Anies Baswedan Muhaimin Iskandar, Ganjar Pranowo Mahfud MD, and Prabowo Subianto Gibran Rakabuming Raka. Commissioner of KPU, Idham Holik, said KPU will then proceed with drawing for the pairs' election serial numbers at 6:30 p.m. and will be broadcasted live to public today. He added KPU invited all pairs of candidates to come to the KPU office to witness the drawing for their election serial numbers. In addition, KPU Chairman Hashim Ashari said all candidates will be invited to join the gala dinner with KPU. All leaders of the political parties who nominated the candidates are also invited. After the dinner, there will be an open plenary meeting for the drawing of the pairs' election serial numbers.
In the meantime, the week-long registration for candidate pairs of presidentials and vice presidentials candidates begins on Thursday. Lieutenant General retired Prabowo Subianto is one of the three candidates that will contest in the presidential elections February next year. And the following is Prabowo's profile. Take a look.
Prabowo Subianto was born in Jakarta on October 17th, 1951, is the son of Professor Sumitro Joyohadikusuma and Dora Marisigar. He is the third of four children. His two older sisters, Biantiningsih Midirawati and Mariani Ekowati, and one younger brother, Hashim Joyohadikusumo. Prabowo was married to Siti Hediati Haryadi, the fourth child of then President Suharto. From this marriage, he was blessed with one child, named Ragowo Didit Hedi Prasetyo. Since childhood, Prabowo has moved from one country to another, following his parents' duties. He attended elementary school in Hong Kong, moved to Malaysia and Switzerland, and he completed high school at the American School in England. At the age of 16, Prabowo returned to Indonesia. His father introduced him to Indonesian society. Young Prabowo did not just participate passively, but he was actively involved in meetings held by his parents. At that time, his parents were known as economic leaders and socialist activists. Prabowo helped establish the first non-governmental organization in Indonesia called the Development Institute. Prabowo began to get involved in building the social network that his parents had previously built. He had the idea of bringing together the children of former Indonesian Socialist Party or PSI officials. His passion for socio-political activities was interrupted in 1970. At the age of 19, Prabowo decided to enroll with the National Military Academy in Magelang, Central Java, although he had earlier been accepted to study at the University of Colorado and the George Washington University, United States. Prabowo graduated from the military academy in 1974. 2 years later, he joined the Army Special Forces, or Kopassus. He began as platoon commander of Kopassus Group 1 Paracommando. He rapidly rose to prominence and was appointed Kopassus chief in 1996 to 1998. His military career continued when he was appointed commander of the Army Strategic Reserves Command or Kostrad in 1998. However, he did not serve as Kostrad chief for long due to critical political situation amidst the rise of student and mass demonstrations and the resignation of Suharto from presidency. In the same year, he was transferred to command the Indonesian Military Staff and Command School, which he only served for a brief period. After leaving office and retiring from the military, Prabowo left Indonesia and lived in Jordan and Germany. There he pursued business with his younger brother Hashim, who had previously become an entrepreneur. After around 7 years in business and disappearing from the hustle and bustle of Indonesia, he returned to his homeland. In 2004, he sought ticket for presidency by joining Golkar Party convention. Unsuccessful in the convention, he built a farmers' network and was elected as chairman of the Indonesian Farmers Association, or HKTI, in 2004. Still, in 2004, he ran as vice presidential candidate, running alongside presidential candidate Megawati Soekarno-Putri, but did not succeed. In 2008, he established the Gerindra Party while also serving as chairman of its advisory board. In the 2014 presidential election, he ran as a presidential candidate partnering with Hatta Rajasa. Unfortunately, this pair did not manage to win the contest. But Prabowo's party achieved a significant increase in votes in the 2014 elections by securing third position after PDIP and Golkar. In 2019, he ran for presidency in his second attempt along with Sandiaga Uno. Yet, he lost again.
Menteri Pertahanan Bapak Prabowo Subianto.
But he was later appointed by President-elect Joko Widodo to become Minister of Defense. In the 2024 elections, Prabowo is nominated by the largest coalition of political parties, which controls 261 seats in the parliament.
Well, there you have it, a thorough profile of one of the presidential candidates for the upcoming general elections in Indonesia, Prabowo Subianto. And to talk more about this particular candidate, let's go over to our esteemed guest joining us for the program again. I'd like to readdress our guest state law academic, Nicholas Samanjuntak, and also from BRIN, researcher at the National Research and Innovation Agency, Mr. Wasisto Raharjo Jati. First to Mr. Nicholas. Mr. Nicholas, you're still with us, I presume.
Yes.
And I guess you've paid close attention to what we've just aired, the thorough profile of Prabowo Subianto, with all of the credentials that he has in his hands. Mr. Nicholas, what do you think he has in store to offer for the presidency?
Yes, that is a quite long story that declared by the information we hear like just now, but there is no such kind of significant story about how Mr. Prabowo finishing his services in the military services and in the society and businesses services. So, of course, the news just we hear just now is closed by the presidential statement to appoint him as a Ministry of Security, National Security. But I think it will be the implication will be found in the days ahead by Mr. Prabowo, because he has a very significant strength in his profile record, but the strength is simultaneously also will be the weakness of his journey, which can be exploited by the people or by the voters. And so that's the two sides of his profile, with the long experience in the military commands, since the leadership of the statehood is not only directing by the military corps, or call it culture. Now, at the moment, the legal and policy statehood at the moment already as what I call it as post-colonialism culture, right, of government character to lead the nation and government. Since the long experience of Mr. Prabowo is just around the, what I call it, not during the updating new information of the development of the countries, which is more and specifically is implementing the democratization, human rights, and environmental sustainable development. It will be, I think, a very, very serious to be affronted by Mr. Prabowo at the days ahead for his election of campaign, I think.
Right, so just to echo your words there, it's a bit of a double-sided blade situations when it comes to Mr. Prabowo.
Yeah, double-sided. Let's call it double-sided.
Right, before I go over very quickly to Mr. Wasisto, we've just received the latest updates from the Office of the Commission of General Elections of Indonesia that it's a currently outpouring of rain in the vicinity, meaning that the schedule of the drawing for the ballot number is pushed a little bit. And we have also received information that all three pairs of candidates have made their arrival at the office of the General Election Commission's. First to arrive was the pair of Prabowo Gibran, followed by the pair of Anies Mohaimin, and last to arrive was Ganjar Pranowo and Mahfud MD. And all the three pairs have been reportedly inside the building of the office, meaning that everyone is getting ready for the drawing of the ballot numbers to take place. Let's go over to Mr. Wasisto. A bit of the same questions. From your analysis, Mr. Wasisto, what does Prabowo have in his hands to bring to the table of the presidency with all of the credentials that he has at this point in time?
Well, I think Mr. Prabowo has a long-standing experience to being a serviceman in the past, to being a chairman of the party, and now to being of the candidate. So these experiences surely show how he can amass the support from the parties, from the public, and also from the voters, since Prabowo has been running in 2014 until now. Of course, he has many loyalists in public space, and also because he is a former of chairman National Farmer Association, he can able to understand how the farmer condition, how the agriculture condition right now in Indonesia. And one thing to note that how Prabowo changed his campaign from the nationalistic attire to the youthful attire is also important to underline, because in previous two election in 2014 and 2019, Prabowo showed his nationalistic spirit, his patriotic spirit, but now he tend to change this style to the youth and youthful appearance by inviting Gibran as the running mate. So I think this could be a source of strength of him to run in the next election, Mas Rahmat.
Right. So he does check a couple of, it does take a couple of check boxes needed to run for president, from what you're saying. However, as we all know, it is undeniable with the fact that he has run a couple of times before and has lost a couple of times before. But now that he has the incumbent's son as his running mates, does it in a way solidify and provide a better prospect for him to win the race, Mr. Wasisto?
Of course, by inviting Gibran as the running mate, he also lost his previous loyalists. But now we can see that how he can convince Jokowi's volunteer group, Jokowi's followers and voter as well, especially from the young voter, to vote for Prabowo in the next election. So I think there is a balance consequences for Prabowo to run again, because he also a risk taker in my opinion. So he can analyze clearly when he should to keep his followers or his voters before, and when he want to abandon his follower before, because it's different color right now, Mas Ra.
But talking about gaining and losing followers, as you said, he might have lost his a substantial amount of followers by taking over, by having Gibran on board. But on another side, as we know, in the past couple of months alone, the presence of our president is always on the side of Prabowo Subianto, meaning that the president is behind him. Would that mean that once he lost his own substantial amount of followers, but he gains other from other sources, and that is to say from the president's followers and supporters?
Well, we cannot say that the President Jokowi is a kingmaker for Prabowo, but I think President also tend to be neutral by embracing Ganjar or Prabowo in many occasions during his time. But I think by having Gibran as his running mate, of course, Prabowo want to change his electability chance, because right now Pak Jokowi has a strongest approval rating in public space, and I think it's better to continue Jokowi's program in the next program by, of course, having Gibran as the running mate, or maybe to continue Pak Jokowi legacy in the next period.
Right. Mr. Nicholas, of course, it goes without saying that the pairing of Prabowo and Gibran is, in a way, to have all of these younger voters on their side. How potential is it, do you think, for this pair, particularly with Gibran on his side, to have this essential largest demography of voters in our country, while also battling consequences, ethical consequences rather, from what's been happening now at the Constitutional Court of the Republic of Indonesia in regards to the final decision for him to be able to run?
The very youngster running mates of Prabowo at the moment is the main problem for gaining or losing the voters and the supporters for the days ahead during the next campaign, I see. Because if we are talking about how to continue the legacy of the presidential at the moment, it is not the personal achievement of Jokowi only as president, but that is the system of legal regulation and we'll call it the constitution dogmatic, state dogmatic, to be done, and so far by the president of Jokowi in the last days. So the very youngster running mate to the very old president candidate is quite impressive to the people, of course, to the follower, of course. But in the statehood legal process and political process, it will be the focus of the problem. It is the problem, of course, because many people see that the achievement so far is because of the personal doing by the Jokowi only. But that is not true, because what Jokowi done during his presidential period, that is the dogmatic and juridic constitution, of course.
All right,
because as you know,
right, I'm going to have to hold you right there. Mr. Nicholas. We are going to go live to KPU now to see the latest developments over at the Commission of General Elections. We are looking at live pictures now where all the three pairs of candidates and all the officials of KPU have taken their seats, signifying that all the ceremonies for the drawing of the ballot numbers of the three presidential pairs will take place in just a few moments. So if you can also look at your own screens, our guests, our gentlemen, it seems that everyone's ready. The rain has subsided over here in Jakarta, and we look forward to the processions of the drawing of the serial, or rather the ballot numbers. We've been informed that there's going to be a few phases of the drawing of the numbers. First, the candidates of vice presidents will be drawing the sequential numbers for them in order to take turns, to determine rather their turns to draw on the presidential numbers. So this is interesting. There will be two times of pulling out lucky numbers from the fish bowl, we're told. So we are looking forward as to which pair will have the opportunity to be the first to draw the ballot number. And in the meantime, just now, we have the visuals of all the supporters. We've been told that each of the pair has been given the opportunity to bring over merely 150 supporters into the venue, or rather the inside, the inner part of the venue. On the outside, however, we have also been looking at pictures where crowds upon crowds have been gathered around KPU here in the capital, Jakarta, Indonesia. We are waiting for moments of the drawing of the serial numbers, or rather the first one, sequential numbers for these pairs to take place. Right. Let's, while we wait for more developments to come in from the KPU, because we believe it will all start with the national anthem of Indonesia Raya in just a few moments. I'd like to go over to you again, Mr. Nicholas. Let's dissect yet another pair, another presidential candidate. Here we have a pair that has been pushing forward the agenda of change. The pair of, shortened as Amin, the Anies Baswedan, and also Muhaimin Iskandar. What do you think this particular pair have in table to offer for the country?
The topic of changes, or just say maybe they called it restoration, is that is the main problem in the legal aspect of the statehood governance, because how to change the government regulation and state dogmatic in constitution stipulation is not as easy as saying only, because as you know, legislative drafting to change one law or regulation is not so easy as it is only by producing such kind of decision or presidential decree by his personal position. So I don't know what they mean by changes or restoration. Instead of it is only maybe just kind of symbolic of a statement to do and to gaining the voters to support them, because the situation is how to change the government policy and state policy is not only enough to do it by only such kind of political party. I mean, at least it should be supported by the coalition of party in the parliament, and it should be a very quite significant significant numbers of political seat in the national parliament.
Mm.
So anyhow, I can understand that maybe impression to the public, they say it, they indicate it as changes or restoration, but the reality in their planning of what you call it, planning of policy to be running down the next day ahead in their campaign is much more than they say it as restoration.
Right.
And maybe it will be changed also in the in any other statements, I think.
Right. In your opinion, Mr. Nicholas, do you think that the amount of parties within the coalition that support the pair of Anis and Mohammed are not enough to incite change that they've been voicing all this time?
Not the numbers of coalition of political party only, because the what call it what we call it in the political legal process, that is what we call it public resonance effect.
Mm.
So the main focus is not the statement of the personal statement of the president itself, but how is the substance of the program they propose to the public
Okay.
can be accepted and can be what we call it, can be attractive to the people to make solution of
All right.
the moment which is existing at the moment. That is the problem. Is that is not only because of the people individual performance, but the quality of the subject of the programs
All right.
itself. Is it?
All right, thank you, Mr. Nicholas. We're going to go over to KPU again because right now the program has started. It has begun now with the national anthem of Indonesia Raya currently ongoing. Before we go to Mr. Wasisto for more analysis on this pair. Now, let's just join in our visuals and live pictures from the KPU. This is the evening of the drawing of serial numbers of presidential and vice presidential candidates for the general election.
Dilanjutkan dengan menyanyikan jingle pemilu.
Sekarang lagi jingle. Sekarang jingle pemilu.
Suara kita sangat berharga, menentukan arah
Hadirin disilakan duduk kembali. Bapak Ibu hadirin yang kami hormati, mohon izin kita akan hening sejenak, kita akan bersama-sama memanjatkan doa demi kelancaran seluruh rangkaian kegiatan kita pada malam hari ini. Doa akan dipimpin oleh Bapak Wahdi Hafizi, kepadanya disilakan.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Izinkan kami memandu doa menurut ajaran agama Islam. Bagi Bapak Ibu yang beragama lain dimohon dengan hormat untuk menyesuaikan. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Hamdan syakirin, hamdan na'imin, hamdan yuafi ni'amahu wa yukafi'u mazidah. Ya Rabbana lakal hamdu wa lakal syukr kama yanbaghi li jalali wajhikal karim wa li azimi sultanik. Allahumma salli ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali sayyidina Muhammad. Ya Allah, ya Rabb, Tuhan kami yang nikmatnya meliputi alam semesta. Terimalah rasa syukur kami atas segala anugerah dan rahmat-Mu kepada kami. Malam ini kami melaksanakan salah satu tahapan penting dalam penyelenggaraan pemilu tahun 2024. Yaitu pengundian nomor urut dan penetapan nomor urut pasangan calon presiden dan wakil presiden dalam pemilihan umum tahun 2024. Kami berharap ya Allah, Engkau dapat menurunkan rahmat dan kasih sayang-Mu kepada kami. Menjadikan acara ini yang merupakan momen pertama 3 pasangan calon pemimpin kami bersatu dalam acara yang penuh dengan keberkahan dan ridho dari-Mu. Allahumma ja'al jam'ana hadza jam'an marhuman mubarakan wa tafarruqana min ba'dihi tafarruqan ma'suma. Ya Allah, ya Rabb, Tuhan kami yang arsy-Nya menaungi alam semesta. Kami meyakini bahwa setiap takdir kami sudah tertulis dalam Lauh Al-Mahfuz. Hari ini adalah salah satu bukti kebesaran-Mu. Engkau telah menolong, membantu, dan memudahkan jalan kami semua. Sampai di mana pasangan calon presiden dan wakil presiden ditetapkan. Ya Allah, jadikanlah seluruh perjuangan kami ini ladang pahala dan pemberat timbangan kami. Dan menjadi pelaksanaan amanah-Mu sebagai khalifah di muka bumi, berbakti kepada Ibu Pertiwi demi kesejahteraan negeri. Ya Allah, ya Rabb, Tuhan kami yang rahmat-Nya menguasai alam semesta. Kami adalah hamba-hamba-Mu yang tak berdaya, kuasa-Mu meliputi segala. Kami mohon yang Allah dengan kuasa-Mu, berikanlah kepada kami perlindungan-Mu, berikanlah kepada kami pertolongan-Mu, berikanlah kepada kami kemampuan dalam menjalankan segala urusan kami. Jadikanlah pemilu dan pilkada serentak tahun 2024 terselenggara dengan sukses, lancar, dan aman, menjadi bagian penting dalam sejarah sukses demokrasi Indonesia. Jadikanlah ya Allah kami yang hadir di tempat ini wasilah bagi seluruh bangsa Indonesia agar dapat menjalankan seluruh tahapan pemilu dengan penuh rasa persaudaraan, penuh rasa perdamaian, penuh rasa persatuan. Ya Allah, ya Rabb, Tuhan kami yang ampunannya seluas alam semesta, ampunilah dosa kami, dosa kedua orang tua kami, dosa para pemimpin bangsa kami, dosa guru-guru kami, karena tiada ampunan kecuali dari Engkau. Ya Allah, kabulkanlah doa kami ini. Tiada kuasa kecuali atas kehendak-Mu, tiada daya kecuali atas pertolongan-Mu. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina adzabannar. Wa sallallahu ala khairi khalqihi sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Bapak Ibu hadirin yang kami hormati, selanjutnya sidang pleno terbuka pengundian dan penetapan nomor urut pasangan calon presiden dan wakil presiden dalam pemilihan umum tahun 2024 yang akan dipimpin langsung oleh Ketua Komisi Pemilihan Umum. Berkenan kepada Bapak Hashim Asyari, disilakan.
Hashim Asyari.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat malam dan salam sejahtera untuk kita sekalian. Yang saya hormati para anggota KPU hadir lengkap di sini, mulai dari paling kanan Mas Agus Melas, Mas Yulianto Sudrajat, Mas Muhammad Afifuddin, Mas Idam Holik, di sebelah kiri saya Mbak Betty Epsilon Idrus, Mas Parsadan Harahap, Sekjen KPU Mas Bernard Dirmawan Sutrisno beserta jajaran. Yang kami hormati pimpinan Bawaslu, pimpinan DKPP, yang kami hormati pimpinan partai politik, ketua umum dan sekjen yang berkesempatan hadir, yang kami hormati pasangan calon presiden dan wakil presiden untuk pemilu 2024.
The presidential and vice presidential candidates pairs for 2024
Saya sebutkan sesuai dengan urut
elections.
kehadiran pada waktu pendaftaran. Yang terhormat Bapak Haji Anies Rashid Baswedan PhD.
The first is Anies Rashid Baswedan
Yang terhormat Bapak Dr. Haji Abdul Muhaimin Iskandar.
and Muhaimin Iskandar.
Yang terhormat Bapak Haji Ganjar Pranowo SH MIP.
Ganjar Pranowo.
Yang terhormat Bapak Profesor Dr. Haji Muhammad Mahfud MD. Yang kami hormati Bapak Haji Prabowo Subianto.
And also Prabowo Subianto
Yang kami hormati Bapak Gibran Raka Buming
and
Raka.
Gibran Rakabuming Raka.
Hadirin yang berbahagia, teman-teman jurnalis yang meliput, pada
Dear
hari ini,
audience
hari
and
Selasa
journalists,
tanggal 14 November Haji Prabowo Subianto tahun 2023
on November 14,
adalah kegiatan
2023,
dari bagian dari
This
tahapan
is
pemilu, yaitu
part
pengundian
of the
nomor urut
election process,
dan penetapan nomor urut
the
pasangan
drawing
calon
of
presiden, wakil
serial
presiden
numbers
beserta
for
pemilu
presidential
tahun
and vice presidential
2024.
candidate pairs.
Dengan memohon rahmat dan ridho dari Allah SWT, Tuhan yang Maha Kuasa,
With the grace of
dengan mengucap
God,
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, maka rapat pleno terbuka dengan agenda pengundian dan penetapan nomor urut pasangan
I
calon
hereby
presiden dan
open
wakil presiden untuk pemilu 2024 hari ini Selasa tanggal 14 Februari
I
tahun
hereby
2023.
I hereby open the drawing event of serial numbers.
Bapak Ibu yang kami hormati, selanjutnya adalah pembacaan tata tertib dan mekanisme
I
pengundian
will
nomor
read
urut
the
untuk pasangan calon presiden dan wakil presiden
I will
untuk
read
pemilu
the
tahun
regulation
2024
for
yang akan dibacakan oleh Mas Idam Holik, Ketua Divisi Teknis Penyelenggaraan Pemilu. Silakan.
Terima kasih Mas Ketua. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam, Om Swastiastu, Namo
Greetings.
Buddhaya, salam kebajikan. Selamat malam. Yang saya hormati kepada Ketua dan anggota KPU Republik Indonesia, yang saya hormati kepada Bapak-bapak, pasangan calon presiden dan wakil presiden,
Distinguished
yang saya
guests,
hormati kepada Ibu-bapak, Ketua atau
press
pimpinan
to
partai
all
politik pengusung
presidential and vice
daftar
presidential candidate
pasangan
pairs
calon
who are
presiden dan
present
wakil
tonight.
presiden. Ibu Bapak yang saya hormati dan saya banggakan, izin saya akan memulai pembacaan tata tertib dan mekanisme pengundian dan penetapan nomor urut pasangan
I will
calon
read
presiden dan
the
wakil presiden
regulation on
peserta
the
pemilu
drawing
tahun
of serial numbers for
2024.
presidential and
1.
vice presidential candidate
Pasangan
pairs.
calon presiden dan
First,
wakil presiden
the
pimpinan
candidate
partai
pairs,
politik pengusul, tim pendukung, tamu
the
undangan, dan
supporter,
media yang
the
diperkenankan
guests
masuk ke lokasi kegiatan pengundian nomor urut pasangan calon presiden dan wakil presiden adalah yang menggunakan tanda pengenal yang dibagikan
should
oleh KPU.
wear
2.
ID.
Tim pendukung masing-masing pasangan
The
calon presiden dan wakil
supporting team
presiden
of
ditetapkan
presidential candidate
sejumlah
pairs
150 orang. 3. Calon wakil presiden
are only
melakukan pengambilan
limited
bola nomor
number.
antrian untuk mengambil nomor urut berdasarkan waktu pendaftaran bakal pasangan calon presiden
They
dan
should
wakil
draw the
presiden.
number based
4.
on
Nomor antrian terdiri
their
dari angka 1 sampai angka 14. Urutan
order of
pengambilan nomor urut
registration.
berdasarkan nomor
The
antrian dengan
numbers
angka terkecil hingga
are
angka terbesar.
from
5.
1
Pasangan
to
calon
3.
presiden dan wakil presiden menunjukkan nomor antrian yang telah
The
diambil
candidate
kepada KPU
pairs should
beserta
show
kegiatan dan
their
media.
queue numbers.
6. Calon presiden melakukan pengambilan nomor urut dalam tabung secara bergiliran
They should
berdasarkan
draw
nomor
the
antrian
number
yang telah diperoleh. 7.
in turns.
Pasangan calon presiden dan wakil presiden menunjukkan nomor urut yang telah diambil kepada
They
KPU
should show the
beserta
number they have
kegiatan dan
taken.
media. 8. Hasil pengundian nomor urut
The
pasangan
result of
calon
the
presiden dan
drawing
wakil presiden dituangkan ke dalam berita acara
will be
tentang
put
penetapan nomor
into
urut pasangan calon
report
peserta pemilihan umum
of
presiden
tonight's
dan wakil
event,
presiden tahun 2024 dan selanjutnya ditetapkan dengan keputusan
and it
KPU.
will be declared as
9.
KPU decision.
KPU menyampaikan salinan keputusan KPU
The
tentang
KPU
penetapan
will
nomor urut pasangan
submit
calon
the
peserta
report.
pemilihan umum presiden dan wakil presiden tahun 2024 kepada A. Pasangan calon presiden dan wakil
We
presiden
will
dan B.
submit the report to
Bawaslu.
the
Demikianlah
candidate
pembacaan
pairs,
tata tertib dan mekanisme pengundian dan
and
penetapan
that
nomor
is
urut pasangan
all
calon presiden dan wakil
the
presiden
regulation
peserta
for the
pemilihan umum
drawing
tahun
of serial numbers.
2024. Terima kasih, saya kembalikan ke Ketua.
Thank you, and I return
Terima
the
kasih,
floor
Mas
to the
Idam Holik.
chairman. Thank you, Idam Holik.
Selanjutnya adalah mari kita bersama-sama ikuti dan kita laksanakan
We will
pengambilan nomor antrian
continue with the
untuk mengambil
drawing
nomor urut.
of the serial number.
Pada kesempatan ini nanti yang akan mengambil
In
nomor
this
antrian adalah masing-masing
each
masing-masing
representative,
calon wakil presiden.
each
Untuk
presidential
urutan pengambilan nomor antrian
candidate pair will take the
berdasarkan
number
waktu
based
kehadiran
on
pendaftaran
their
pada saat pendaftaran bakal
registration.
pasangan calon
Present.
presiden dan wakil presiden. Oleh karena itu,
Therefore,
sebagaimana data yang
according to our
kami
data,
catat, kehadiran mendaftar kesempatan
attendance
pertama pada tanggal 19 Oktober tahun
the
2023
attendance list
pada
showed
jam
that
9.36
the first
WIB
candidate who
adalah
came
pasangan calon
was
Bapak Haji Anies Rashid
Anies
Baswedan
Rashid
PhD dan
Baswedan
Bapak Dr. Haji Abdul
and
Muhaimin
Muhammad
Iskandar.
Iskandar.
Waktu kehadiran pada saat pendaftaran yang kedua bakal pasangan calon presiden wakil presiden
The second
pada
presidential
tanggal 19
candidate
Oktober
pair
tahun 2023
to
jam
KPU
12.20 WIB adalah pasangan calon Bapak Haji Ganjar
was Ganjar
Pranowo
Pranowo
SHMIP
and
dan
Mahfud
Bapak
MD.
Profesor Dr. Haji Muhammad Mahfud MD. Kehadiran ketiga sesuai dengan waktu pendaftaran bakal pasangan
third
calon
attend-
presiden wakil presiden
the third
pada tanggal
candidate
25
pairs
Oktober
in the
tahun
list
2023 jam 11.20
who came to KPU
adalah pasangan
was
calon Bapak Haji Prabowo Subianto
Prabowo
dan
Subianto
Bapak
and
Gibran
Gibran
Raka
Raka Buming Raka.
Bumi Raka. Untuk pengambilan nomor antrian akan dilakukan berdasarkan nomor antrian kehadiran. Nanti yang akan maju
The
mengambil
queuing
adalah
number will
masing-masing
be
calon wakil
taken based
presiden,
on their
yaitu akan
attendance
mengambil
list.
nomor yang ada di tabung sebelah kanan
They will
kami.
take the number on the tube on
Di dalamnya
our
ada
right
nomor
side.
1
Inside
sampai
it,
14.
There
Kemudian
are numbers
siapa
from 1 to
nanti
14.
yang akan mendapatkan nomor, itulah nomor antrian untuk mengambil nomor urut. Pada kesempatan pertama kami undang
For the first
calon wakil
drawers,
presiden Bapak Dr.
we
Haji
invite
Abdul Muhaimin Iskandar.
Muhammad Iskandar.
Silahkan mengambil nomor, nanti ini adalah nomor antrian untuk mengambil nomor urut.
This is the queue number to take the serial number.
Sudah? Isi dulu, Mas. Selanjutnya kami undang calon wakil presiden.
The next one,
kehadiran
for the next one, we
kedua,
invite
yaitu Bapak Profesor Dr. Haji Muhammad Mahfud MD.
Muhammad Mahfud MD.
Selanjutnya kami undang calon wakil presiden yang hadir pada kesempatan ketiga, yaitu Bapak Gibran Rakabuming Raka.
Person we invite Gibran Rakabuming Raka.
Sebentar, di tengah, silakan di tengah.
Please move to the center.
Pada kesempatan pertama, kami persilahkan Bapak Muhaimin untuk membuka.
We will ask Muhaimin to open the queue number.
Nomor antrian untuk pasangan calon Bapak Haji Anies Rashid Baswedan dan Bapak Muhaimin Iskandar adalah nomor 8.
The number for Anies Baswedan and Muhaimin Iskandar is number 8.
Pak Mahfud MD.
For the next number, we will see from Mahfud MD.
Nomor 10.
It's number 10.
Selanjutnya,
Then
Pak Gibran.
We invite Pak Gibran to open the queue number.
Nomor 14.
It's number 14.
Terima kasih. Kami persilahkan Bapak-Bapak untuk kembali ke tempat duduk masing-masing.
Please return to your seat.
Berdasarkan tata tertib dan mekanisme pengundian dan penetapan nomor
Based on the regulation and mechanism of drawing of
bahwa
serial
kesempatan
numbers,
untuk mengambil
the
nomor
opportunities
urut
to draw the
masing-masing pasang
numbers
calon dimulai dari
start
nomor antrian
from
paling kecil.
the smallest number.
Sebelum dilakukan, saya bacakan terlebih dahulu
I will
pasangan
read
Bapak Haji Anies Rashid Baswedan dan Bapak Haji Abdul Muhaimin Iskandar nomor antrian
I will read the
8.
number again.
Maka beliau nanti akan mendapat
Anies
kesempatan
Baswedan
pertama.
and Muhaimin Iskandar.
Kemudian pasangan Bapak
number
Haji Ganjar
8, so they
Pranowo
will
dan Bapak
have
Mahfud
the first
MD mendapat
chance
nomor
to
antrian
draw the serial
10.
number.
Maka nanti akan dapat
Then
kesempatan yang
Ganjar
kedua untuk
and
mengambil nomor
Mahfud get number
urut.
10, so they get second.
Kemudian pasangan
Third,
Bapak Haji Prabowo Subianto dan Bapak Gibran Rakabuming
Prabowo
Raka
and Gibran
mendapatkan nomor antrian
number
14,
14,
maka nanti mendapatkan
so
kesempatan
they
yang
will
ketiga.
draw the number for the, as the
Selanjutnya
third pair.
kami undang untuk maju ke depan
We will invite
pasangan calon Bapak Haji Anies Rashid Baswedan
we
dan
will
Bapak
invite
Haji
Anies
Abdul Muhaimin Iskandar.
Baswedan and Muhaimin Iskandar to come forward.
Kami persilahkan berdua.
Please, both of them to come forward.
Di hadapan Bapak berdua ada dua
In front of you,
tabung.
there are 3 tubes.
Silahkan diambil.
Please
Dan di dalamnya nanti akan
take
ada
one,
nomor urut.
and inside it, there is a number.
Sorry. Ada ada 3 tabung di hadapan Bapak. Nanti silakan diambil satu dan di
Please take
dalamnya
one.
terdapat nomor urut
And inside it
pasangan calon
is
presiden dan
your serial
wakil
number.
presiden. Silakan calon presiden untuk mengambil. Silakan dibuka.
Please
Pak
open
Anies.
the tube.
Oh nanti. Oke. Selanjutnya kesempatan kedua pasangan calon Bapak
For the
Haji
next
Ganjar Pranowo dan Pak
drawing,
Mahfud MD. Kami
we
persilakan.
invite Ganjar Pranowo and Mahfud MD.
Selanjutnya kami undang antrian
And for
ketiga
the third
pasangan
pair,
calon
we
Bapak Haji
invite
Prabowo Subianto
Prabowo
dengan Bapak Gibran
Subianto
Raka
and Gibran
Buming
Rakabuming
Raka.
Raka to draw the number.
Selanjutnya kami persilakan Bapak Haji Anies Rashid Baswedan untuk membuka
We will invite
nomor
Anies Baswedan to
urut.
open the serial number. It's number 1.
Pak Anies. Pak Anies, nomor berapa? Selanjutnya kesempatan berikutnya
And we invite
Pak Ganjar Pranowo
the
untuk
next
membuka
pair
nomor
to open their number.
urut.
Ganjar Pranowo and Mahfud MD to open the number. It's number 3.
Selanjutnya yang terakhir
And last but
Pak
not
Prabowo
least,
silakan membuka nomor urut.
we invite Pak Prabowo to open the numbers, and it's number 2.
Terima kasih.
Thank
Kami
you.
persilahkan
And
Bapak-bapak untuk kembali
please
ke
return to
tempat.
your seats.
Right, moment of joyous cheers there over at the Commissions of General Elections of Indonesia in capital Jakarta, where all the numbers have been assigned for each respective presidential and vice presidential candidates for the upcoming simultaneous general elections in the country. And to get us up to speed on the latest developments over on the grounds, we have our reporter Bram Muda with the latest. Bram, what more can you tell us over what's happening where you are at the moment? Bram.
Thank you, Rahmat. So here in the KPU office in Jakarta, as you all can see that number 1, Prabowo and Gibran Rakabuming get the number 3. And now, as you can hear, maybe in
We apologize for the technical difficulties with our connections. They're a bit
they are
spotty.
supporting their
With our reporter
Hello?
Bramuda currently at the venue, because as you can see, it's just crowds around him. Bramuda, we are connected now. Continue, please.
chanting, singing their heart out for their presidential candidate. And the mechanism, as you can see, for the serial number drawing is first to take the queue number and then take the serial number drawing for the each of the presidential pairs. From now on, as the presidential pair are lively here. Problem with the rain, as this event is a bit delayed because of the rain right after gala dinner, so it's around 15 to 30 minutes delay, but this is all fine because the people are still here living up the hype for this.
All right. Bramuda, apparently we've lost connection with you, but thank you very much for the wonderful report. We can only imagine the cheer and the joy and just the crowd there over at the Commission of General Election here in Jakarta, and probably spotty signal as well with the reporting. However, thank you very much indeed, Bramuda, they're live reporting from the Commission of General Elections. And in the meantime, we'll bring you now the latest pictures again over at the main venue of the Office of General Election Commissions here in Jakarta, where just moments ago we witnessed the drawing of the ballot number for each presidential candidates. As you can see there, the chairman of KPU is still leading the open plenary meeting of tonight's event. Let's listen in.
Kami persilahkan para anggota KPU untuk berdiri dan menandatangani di meja depan.
Numbers that have been drawn earlier today, and this is to officially note down the numbers for each respective pair of presidential and vice presidential candidates. And if we go over again the moments and the numbers that have been drawn by each pair, Anies Baswedan and also his running mate Muhaimin is placed at number 1 with the first opportunity to draw the number there, and the second to draw was Ganjar and Mahfud, where we witnessed a bit of a shake-up there, and they pulled out number 3. And making the last round of the drawing was the pair of Prabowo, Gibran, notably placing themselves at the second, or rather placing them with numbers 2. So there you have it. Number 1 goes to Anies and Muhaimin, number 2 to Prabowo Gibran, and number 3 to Ganjar Mahfud. And what you are looking at is the signing moments by the officials of the Commission of General Election of Indonesia to sort of officialize the decisions on the ballot numbers for each pairs of candidates. The rundown that we have received on tonight's event, the drawing of the ballot numbers for each respective pair of candidates will be followed by the opportunity to deliver a special remarks. It's been told that each of the pair is given 10 minutes to deliver their remarks. It is unknown at this point whether or not the remarks will be delivered by the presidential candidates only or by both the presidential and vice presidential candidates. So we'll look forward to the moment where each of the pair will be given time to take to the podium to deliver their remarks after, upon having received the ballot numbers assigned for their respective pair. And that's the visual that you're looking at live from the office of the General Election Commission here in Jakarta, where The countdown, where you can see there at the top of the building, says 91, meaning that there's 90 days left, a little over 90 days at this point, before the day of the election arrives, and that is the 14th of February 2024. However, in many other countries, our diasporas may be given a chance to vote a little earlier by different methods, either going to the booth at the embassy or through mobile booth stations, or mailing votes. In particular, in Malaysia and Kuala Lumpur, for example, the election day will be on the 11th of February 2024, taking place at the embassy of Indonesia in Kuala Lumpur, where 20,000 voters have been registered to vote at that particular site, and a little over 1 million other voters, the biggest overseas voting sites for Indonesian elections. Malaysia it is, taking place across the country in Malaysia. And other countries will also follow suit, noting that the 14th of February 2024 will be the day where we expect the voting will conclude all over the world, including here in Indonesia, for at least the first round, should there ever be the second round, depending on the percentage of the voting later on the 14th of February.
Ibu Bapak yang kami hormati, baru saja kita sama-sama menyaksikan penandatanganan berita acara. Saya bacakan berita acara nomor 1635-BA-05-2023 tentang penetapan nomor urut pasangan calon peserta pemilihan umum presiden dan wakil presiden tahun 2024. Pada hari ini, Selasa, tanggal 14 bulan November tahun 2023, bertempat di Jakarta, Komisi Pemilihan Umum telah melakukan pengundian nomor urut pasangan calon presiden dan wakil presiden dalam pemilihan umum tahun 2024 berdasarkan pasal 53 Peraturan KPU nomor 19 tahun 2023 tentang pencalonan peserta pemilihan umum presiden dan wakil presiden, dan dengan memperhatikan 1. Berita acara nomor 1627-PL.04-BA-05-2023 tentang penetapan pasangan calon peserta pemilihan umum presiden dan wakil presiden tahun 2024 tanggal 13 November 2023, dan kedua, keputusan Komisi Pemilihan Umum nomor 1632 tahun 2023 tentang penetapan pasangan calon peserta pemilihan umum presiden dan wakil presiden tahun 2024 tanggal 13 November 2023. Berdasarkan pengundian nomor urut pasangan calon presiden dan wakil presiden, ditetapkan nomor urut pasangan calon presiden dan wakil presiden sebagai berikut.
The serial number for the presidential and vice presidential candidate
Nomor urut
pairs.
1.
Number 1.
Nama pasangan calon
are for
Haji Anies Rashid Baswedan dan Dr. Haji Abdul Muhaimin Iskandar. Partai pengusul Partai Nasdem, Partai Kebangkitan Bangsa, Partai Keadilan Sejahtera. Nomor urut 2. Pasangan calon Haji Prabowo Subianto dan Gibran
Rakabuming Raka.
Partai politik pengusul Partai Gerakan Indonesia Raya, Partai Golongan Karya, Partai Demokrat, Partai Amanat Nasional, Partai Solidaritas Indonesia, Partai Bulan Bintang, Partai Garda Republik Indonesia. Nomor urut 3. Pasangan calon Haji Ganjar Pranowo,
number 3 goes
SHMIP
to
dan
Ganjar Pranowo
Profesor Dr. Haji Muhammad Mahfud MD. Partai politik
The
pengusul
proponent parties are
Partai Demokrasi Indonesia Perjuangan,
Indonesian Democratic
Partai
Party
Persatuan
of Struggle,
Pembangunan, Partai Perindo,
Development
Partai Hanura.
the Hanura Party.
Demikian berita acara ini ditandatangani oleh Ketua
This
dan
report
anggota
has
KPU,
been signed by KPU
Ketua Hashim
members,
Asyari, anggota BT
KPU
Epsilon
chairmen
Idrus,
and
Muhammad
members.
Afifuddin Parsadaan Harahap, Yulianto Sudrajat, Idam Holik, dan Agus Melas. Selanjutnya, berdasarkan berita
The next
acara
phase will be
nomor
based on
1635
the
tahun 2023
dossiers,
keputusan Komisi Pemilihan Umum
the General Election
nomor
Commission decision
1644 tahun 2023 tentang
on
penetapan nomor urut
the drawing
pasangan
of
calon
serial
peserta
numbers
pemilihan umum presiden dan wakil presiden tahun 2024.
for the
Ketua Komisi
2024
Pemilihan Umum
election.
menimbang dan
We
seterusnya,
consider and so on,
mengingat dan seterusnya,
remembered
memutuskan,
and so on,
menetapkan
deciding
keputusan Komisi Pemilihan Umum tentang penetapan nomor urut
on the drawing of serial
pasangan
number
calon
for the
peserta
presidential
pemilihan
and
umum presiden dan wakil
presidential
presiden tahun
candidate pairs.
2024. Ke-1, menetapkan nomor urut
First,
pasangan calon peserta pemilihan umum presiden
we
dan wakil
decided the
presiden
number
tahun
for
2024
the candidate
sebagaimana
pairs
tercantum dalam
as
lampiran keputusan
mentioned in
yang
the
merupakan bagian yang tidak terpisahkan dari
documents,
keputusan ini.
and it becomes part of
Kedua,
the decision.
keputusan ini
Second,
mulai berlaku pada
this
tanggal
decision
ditetapkan
is valid
ditetapkan di
starting
Jakarta
from the date
pada
of
tanggal
its
14
issuance
November
on November 14,
2023. Ketua Komisi
2023,
Pemilihan Umum ditandatangani Hashim Asyari.
signed by KPU Chairman Hashim Asyari.
Selanjutnya
Next phase will
kami
be,
undang
we will invite
selanjutnya adalah penyerahan surat keputusan KPU
submit
nomor
decision
1644
letter
tahun 2023 tentang penetapan nomor urut
on the drawing
pasangan
of
calon
serial
presiden
number
dan wakil presiden beserta plakat nomor urut pasangan calon.
and the plaque,
Kami undang
the
secara
number plaque.
berturut-turut sesuai dengan nomor urut untuk maju ke depan. Pasangan calon presiden dan wakil presiden nomor urut 1.
We
Bapak
invite
Haji Anies
the
Rashid Baswedan PhD
first
dan Bapak Dr. Haji Abdul
presidential
Muhaimin Iskandar.
and vice presidential candidate pairs, Anies Baswedan and Muhaimin Iskandar, to come forward.
Selanjutnya kami undang pasangan calon nomor urut 2
The
Bapak Haji
second
Prabowo
candidate
Subianto
pairs,
dengan Bapak Gibran Rakabuming
Prabowo
Raka.
Subianto and Gibran Rakabuming Raka to come forward.
Selanjutnya kami undang pasangan calon presiden dan
And we
wakil
invite
presiden
the third
nomor urut
candidate
3
pairs,
Bapak Haji
Ganjar
Bapak
Pranowo
Haji
and
Ganjar
Mahfud
Pranowo
MD to come
SHMIP
forward.
dan Bapak Profesor Dr. Haji Muhammad Mahfud MD.
The official handover of presidential numbers to each of the respective pairs have just been underway. Let's go over to our reporter again, Bramuda Biru, on the ground there at the venue. Bramuda, what more can you tell us of things that have been transpiring at the venue? Bram.
Now I'm still here at the drawing event for presidential affairs serial number. And here, after each of the presidential candidates get their number, for our number one, Anies Baswedan and Muhaymin Iskandar get the number one, and Ganjar Pranowo and Mahfud get the number. I'm sorry, number two for Prabowo and Gibran, and number three for Ganjar Pranowo and Mahfud. Here, people here are still singing, chanting with all the hearts. For hours. It's been hours since they first arrived here. They've been chanting, and they're supporting the chosen presidential candidates of the age. And here there have been the official signing for the presidential election, and the campaign times for each of the presidential pairs will be 7 days campaign time. Also, it has been a slight delay for the event since there has been a bit of rain during this dinner, so there has been a 15 to 30 minutes delay, but it seems to be having no problem for the people here because they're still eager and the feeling of the vibe here in Iran is still lively. And they're still tirelessly singing and chanting, and God knows how long the people will keep on chanting for their own presidential affairs.
All right. Bramuda Biru there reporting live from the venue of the General Election Commissions. We certainly can feel the energy all the way here in the studio. Well, if it rains a little bit, that'll be like singing in the rain there for all the supporters over at the venue. Thank you again, Bramuda Biru, live from the venue of tonight's drawing for the ballot numbers for the presidential and vice presidential pairs of the elections. And as we go over to the live pictures over at the venues, the last item on the agenda tonight was to be the delivery of special remarks from each of the presidential peers. We believe that it will be done sequentially, meaning that Anies and Muhaymin will take the first turn to deliver the remarks for the evening, and then turn number two by Prabowo and Gibran, and then the final round of remarks to be delivered by Ganjar and also Mahfud MD. We believe our guests for the program, Mr. Nicholas and Mr. Wasisto, are still with us for the program. I'd like to head over to Mr. Wasisto on behalf of Brin first. Mr. Wasisto, can you still hear me? Are you still with us?
Yes, I still
right.
Hearing you clearly.
Give us your biggest key takeaways from what had just taken place over at KPU.
Pardon me?
Give us your latest analysis on the things that we've just witnessed happening at the KPU.
Oh, okay, I get it. So, as I mentioned before, that the way the pair, after receiving the number, showing how they want to make a symbolic meaning behind the number. For example, Anies Baswedan showing the finger one as the as number one, for example, more maybe, and then number two, Prabowo Subianto show the victory sign. I'm sorry, Gibran showing the victory gesture by fingering two, and then lastly, Ganjar Pranowo also want to connect his metal greeting as his party own this greeting and his number now. So we can see clearly how the pair want to make the connection behind the number and their political motivation in the next election, Mas Rahmat.
Mr. Wasisto, do you believe that each of the number has its own philosophical meaning to these pairs? Because from what we've seen, Mr. Wasisto and also Mr. Nicholas, each of them seem to be quite happy with the number that they have received. I mean, we can see that the pair of Amin looking extremely happy with their number 1. And also we see Gibran and also Mr. Prabowo putting up the peace sign, number 2, over and over again with a big smile on their face. And as you said, the metal sign from Mr. Ganjar, where we see just superbly elated with each of their numbers. What do you think it means, these respective numbers to each and every one of them?
I think for the pair Anies Baswedan and also Muhaimin Iskandar, the meaning of number 1 is relate the spirit of Amin during their campaign action. So by showing number 1 and in the next campaign period, it seemed that they want to showcase here that the number 1 is also mean Tauhid, for example, or maybe some religious symbolic that connect with Amin spirit. So that's why they're extremely happy but when they receive the number 1, because they can could be more proud, more confident by showing finger 1 as the electoral message. But for the Prabowo Subianto, of course, by showing or victory, of course, he want to show confidence in the next election, because in the previous election, Jokowi also had the number 2 in his number during election in 2019. So it seemed that he followed Jokowi's path. It may be a fortunate calculation, but for the Ganjar Pranowo, of course, he want to show the ideological ties between his party and his current number for the contestation, Mas Rahmat.
So he believes that he's holding the lucky number there, Mr. Wasisto. Mr. Nicholas, from your analysis, judging from the gestures, the facial expressions of these candidates, do they seem genuinely happy to you, or did they secretly wish for another number other than the one that they have received or picked?
It is not only happy to the people I see in the stage at the moment, but also it is happily to the wind and the nature shining by the rain at the moment in the events. So because why I said about the what you call it, the sound of the nature on this numbering, because nearly all of them having obtained the number at the moment is the use number they use in the last day before campaigning, officially campaigning. Just like Ganjar obtained number 3, and of course it is the old number of him in the last days of campaign, in the last periods. The number 2 also, I think, this is the number of Prabowo during the last election,
which he
because
lost.
number 1 is Jokowi,
right?
And then number 1 to Amin is what I agree what is called by Mr. Wasito, that is such kind of religious symbolic. I mean that you will finish, and it's number 1.
All right.
So I think,
all right,
symbolically,
Mr. Nicholas, I have to stop you there because Muhaimin is about to take to the podium to deliver the speech. Let's have a listen first.
Okay, let's follow it.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, wala haula wala quwata illa billah, amma ba'du. Yang saya banggakan, saya hormati Ketua dan seluruh anggota KPU beserta seluruh jajaran. Yang saya muliakan, saya banggakan para ketua umum partai-partai politik, beserta sekjen dan seluruh jajaran. Yang saya banggakan para pasangan calon presiden dan calon wakil presiden yang saya hormati. Saya diperintah oleh calon presiden untuk mewakili kami berdua atas nama Amin untuk Indonesia. Puji syukur, alhamdulillah hari ini kita sampai pada tahapan yang sangat penting. Dimulainya proses pemilihan umum dengan penetapan dan penentuan nomor urut pada malam hari ini. Alhamdulillah kita bersyukur semua proses berjalan lancar dan kita menyaksikan KPU bekerja secara profesional. Tepuk tangan untuk KPU.
has worked professionally.
Yang kedua, kita juga sangat berbahagia dan bersyukur bahwa akhirnya masing-masing calon presiden dan calon wakil presiden telah menyiapkan diri dengan baik sehingga kita sampai pada satu tahap berkomitmen untuk melaksanakan pemilu dengan semangat penuh riang gembira dan sekaligus kita ingin bersama-sama mengisi pemilu dengan gagasan, ide, cita-cita dimulai dari track record, rekam jejak dan berbagai visi-misi
track records
yang
and vision and mission
miliki masing-masing secara lengkap. Alhamdulillah hari ini timnas pemenangan Amin saya laporkan kepada seluruh rakyat bangsa Indonesia.
I hereby report to all Indonesians that we are ready to enter the competition in good
Amin
manners.
menganggap bahwa kita telah memiliki kesempatan untuk terus menjaga agar pemilihan umum berjalan dengan langsung, umum, bebas dan rahasia. Dilaksanakan dengan penuh kejujuran, keterbukaan dan kebersamaan kepada seluruh masyarakat rakyat bangsa Indonesia. Lihatlah pemilu ini ibarat seperti kompetisi pertandingan sepak bola.
The general election is like a football match.
Tim masing-masing capres dan cawapres bermain
Each
secara
team
sportif
should
dan
play
bermain secara
in good
terbuka
sport, and
sehingga ibaratnya
be transparent.
rakyat harus menikmati pemilu tahun ini dengan penuh riang
The
gembira
people
dan
should enjoy the
kebersamaan
election
serta
happily,
kekeluargaan, berkompetisi tetapi tetap
in good
berkeluarga dan
competition,
bersaudara. Amin.
in good competitiveness,
Kita semua
and
yakin kalau
good
kita melihat
manners.
pemilu seperti sepak bola, maka rakyat punya kesempatan untuk menyaksikan dengan bahagia.
We believe people
Kalau
have
ada
the
pemain
opportunities to
bersifat
watch
curang, tolong
the
diteriaki
election
supaya tidak
in a
curang.
good manners.
Kalau ada wasit merangkap pemain,
If there is a
kita foto
referee
dan kita
that
sebarluaskan.
is also taking part
Kalau
as
ada
a
wasit yang
player,
curang,
we should
kita
report.
laporkan kepada FIFA sebagai lembaga tertinggi.
Just like a football match, we should report it to
Ada
FIFA.
pemain yang nakal
If
dan
there is
neckling,
a
lawan
bad
foto dan
player
viralkan ke seluruh
during the
penjuru.
game, we should also report it.
Itulah pemilu yang saling menjaga. Karena
This
apa?
is what it means
Pemilu
to
adalah
have
taruhan
a good
bangsa kita.
election, because election is
Kalau
a
pemilu
very
berjalan
decisive
dengan
moment.
baik,
If an
legitimate,
election
objektif,
is going
insya
well,
Allah negeri ini akan tetap
the
bersatu,
country
kuat
will
dan
be
berhasil
united
membangun.
in strength and
Kalau
in
pemilu
and
ini
developing.
berjalan dengan jujur adil, insya Allah
If the
pembangunan
elections
akan
going
lancar
fair and
selancar-lancarnya.
square, everything will go as planned.
Ke Mamuju jangan lupa pakai sepatu. Kalau ingin maju, pilihlah nomor 1. Oleh karena itu, mari kita semua, seluruh rakyat bangsa Indonesia,
Therefore, let
mengikuti
us,
pemilihan
all
umum dengan
Indonesians,
semangat membangun bangsa.
to welcome
Dengan
this
semangat
moment,
menjaga momentum
to build
demokrasi yang telah
Indonesia
kita jaga dan
and
berhasil
to maintain the
hingga hari ini.
moment
Kita tidak ingin demokrasi mundur ke belakang dan
We don't
tanpa arah
we
yang
don't
jelas.
want to
Amin.
have backward
Karena itu
democracy. We should go
saya
forward.
dan Mas Anies bersyukur
Therefore,
kita dapat nomor 1. Pertanda
Mas Anies
baik.
and I,
Amin.
we get
Nomor 1.
number 1. Amin is number 1.
Selamat kepada seluruh bangsa Indonesia.
Congratulations to all Indonesians.
Menjaga pemilihan umum.
Let us
dengan
guard
penuh
the
semangat,
election
penuh kekeluargaan,
in high spirit,
sportif, beradu gagasan, beradu cita-cita,
in good
beradu
manners.
cara kerja. Insya Allah, alhamdulillah kita akan sampai pada tahap Indonesia semakin kuat dan kokoh bagi keadilan
We
dan
believe
kemakmuran.
that it will bring
Yang
us
ingin
to good
perubahan,
position.
jangan lupa
Those who
nomor
want changes,
1.
don't forget to choose number 1.
Wassalamualaikum
Thank
warahmatullahi
you and
wabarakatuh.
greetings to all.
Here's number 1. Anies Baswedan and Muhaimin Iskandar, delivered by the candidate of Vice President himself. So that was quite a lively and fiery remarks there, for lack of better words, highlighting that everyone should pay attention to all the faces, particularly for the campaigns and also the voting phase of the elections that comes right after it. And we are looking at the latest pictures there over at KPU, where the next peer, the peers of number 2, Gibran and Prabowo and Gibran rather, will take to the podium now. Have a listen.
Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan.
Greetings to all.
Yang saya hormati dan yang saya banggakan, Ketua KPU beserta seluruh komisioner
KPU
jajarannya,
Chairman,
Sekretaris Jenderal beserta seluruh jajarannya, Ketua Bawaslu, Ketua
Bawaslu
DKPP,
members and Chairman,
dan semua unsur yang telah
and
mendukung proses
everyone who have supported
tahap demi tahap
this
pemilihan umum.
the stages of election.
Ketua Umum partai-partai politik yang hadir,
Distinguished
Presiden Republik
political
Indonesia
party
kelima yang saya
leaders,
hormati, beserta seluruh Ketua Sekjen
the Secretary
partai-partai
General,
politik, kemudian juga pasangan calon
and also other
nomor 1
candidate
dan nomor
pairs.
3 yang saya hormati dan saya banggakan. Tentunya kita bersyukur kehadirat
We are
Allah
glad
Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, Tuhan Maha Besar, kita diberi kesehatan, dapat
that
mengikuti
we have
acara
the
yang
good health
demikian penting
to take part
secara
in this event.
baik dan sempurna. Saya atas nama
On behalf of
pasangan calon nomor 2
candidate pairs
mengucapkan
number
terima
2,
kasih dan
we would
penghargaan
like to
setinggi-tingginya
thank
kepada KPU,
the KPU.
kemudian juga kepada Bawaslu dan
We also want to
DKPP
thank Bawaslu
atas terselenggaranya proses pemilihan umum
for holding
dengan
the process of election.
Saya tidak akan panjang lebar pidato, tapi
I
saya
will not
ingin sampaikan di sini
give long speech.
bahwa kita patut bangga,
We should be
kita
proud
adalah negara demokrasi,
that we
salah
are a
satu yang
democratic
terbesar di
country,
dunia,
one of the
tidak
largest
salah,
in the
ketiga
world,
terbesar di dunia, dan kita telah mengalami pemilihan-pemilihan umum
we have held general election
periode demi periode, dan kita bersyukur
through
bahwa
the
negara
years,
kita masih utuh,
and we are
masih
still
bersatu, walaupun
united
begitu banyak tantangan yang kita hadapi.
despite the challenges that we faced.
Saya sangat setuju dengan
I totally agree
aspirasi, harapan-harapan yang disampaikan
with the aspiration delivered by
pasangan calon nomor 1.
candidate
Saya
pairs
sangat,
number 1.
kalau baik kita katakan baik. kejujuran itu harus utuh, seutuh-utuhnya. Jadi saya sangat sependapat dengan aspirasi pasangan calon nomor 1.
I agreed with the aspiration delivered by candidate number 1.
Memiliki negara yang berdemokrasi.
We
Kita
should maintain
percaya
the
dan
democracy.
yakin KPU akan melaksanakan semua proses pemilihan umum dengan sebaik-baiknya, dengan
KPU has
sejujur-jujurnya,
conducted the stages of general election
tanpa kecurangan apapun,
and should carry out without any flaws.
Karena kalau melaksanakan pemilu yang curang mengkhianati bangsa dan rakyat Indonesia.
If there is fraud and
kita
that if lies
saya
to
juga
the
sependapat
people,
dengan pasangan calon nomor 1, terutama yang disampaikan oleh Gus Muhaimin.
I agreed with what Muhaimin Iskandar has said.
Sahabat lama saya. Saya juga punya pantun. Gus Muhaimin.
I also have a quatrain.
1, 2 cempaka biru. 3, 4 dalam jabangan. Kalau mendapat kawan baru, kawan lama dilupa jangan. Saya sependapat dan saya bersyukur dan saya gembira. Suasana hari ini, suasana
I'm
penuh
grateful,
kekeluargaan.
I'm happy that today's event is
penuh riang
full
gembira,
of happiness,
penuh dengan saling mengasihi, saling mendukung.
full of
Jadi,
love and
saudara,
support.
siapapun yang menang,
Anyone who win the election should unite and build this country.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera bagi kita sekalian. Shalom.
Greetings to all.
Santi Om. Merdeka!
Freedom.
Merdeka!
Another fiery remarks from presidential pairs number 2 in the ballot. And that was the official remarks upon a drawing from Prabowo Subianto, and standing on his left side is the son of the incumbent President Gibran Rakabuming Raka as his running mate. Started very calmly at the beginning, but then it ended up with such an energy of inviting everyone to unite. So not to let the general elections segregate the nations, for lack of better words, but it is a time to show unity and solidarity amidst all of the differences. And on his way to the podium now, the presidential pairs number 3, Ganjar Pranowo and Mahfud MD, about to take to the podium. Let's have a listen into the official remarks of pair number 3.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat malam, salam sejahtera untuk kita semuanya. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Rahayu. Salam Pancasila.
Greetings of
Merdeka.
Pancasila, freedom.
Yang saya hormati seluruh anggota KPU, Bawaslu, DKPP.
Distinguished
Terima kasih
KPU chairman and
sudah
members.
memberikan sebuah proses kelancaran sampai
have
nomor urut dari masing-masing
implemented the
pasangan
drawing of the
sudah
serial number
ditentukan.
and smooth.
Dan tentu hadir di sini para pimpinan partai politik dari seluruh partai yang sangat saya hormati.
Greetings to
Kami senang
political party
riang gembira
leaders
suasana
who have
ini
come to this event
ditunjukkan di depan
tonight.
publik. Dan kami ingin itu juga ada dalam hati kita masing-masing. Saya sangat menghormati situasi ini. Tapi izinkan tanpa mengurangi rasa hormat saya untuk menyapa partai pengusung saya. Dari PDI Perjuangan, Bu Megawati, terima kasih.
I would like to thank my proponent
Pak
parties.
Mardiono dari P3,
From
terima kasih.
Indonesian Democratic Party of
Pak
Struggle, thank
Haritanu,
you.
terima kasih dari Perindo. Dan Pak Oso dari Hanura.
From
Para
Hanura,
relawan yang semua hadir dan seluruh masyarakat Indonesia.
everyone who support me, I would like to say thanks.
Jadi kita mendapatkan nomor 3 itu pas sesuai dengan sila ketiga
We
Persatuan
received
Indonesia.
number 3. I think it's very fitting for
Kita
us.
satukan semuanya dalam proses politik yang menggembirakan.
This is a
Bapak Ibu yang
joyous
sangat saya
moment.
hormati, itulah kegembiraan yang seharusnya kita dapatkan.
This is a happiness that we should
Tapi beberapa hari
celebrate.
ini kita sedang disuguhkan untuk menonton drakor yang sangat menarik.
Recently we
Publik
watched a Korean drama.
pendukung Ganjar Mahfud, saya berharap tenang. Saya menghormati yang lain. Drama-drama itulah yang sebenarnya tidak perlu terjadi. Dan malam ini memang seharusnya kita sedang memulai sesuatu perayaan demokrasi melalui pemilu.
Tonight we are
Dan
starting
namun
with
melihat
a
situasi
democratic
belakangan
journey.
ini, tentu kami mendengarkan banyak pihak. Kita menangkap apa yang menjadi kegelisahan, suasana kebatinan yang muncul
We
di masyarakat.
captured the anxiety of
Ada tokoh
the
agama,
people,
ada guru-guru
the
bangsa,
religious
ada seniman,
leaders, the
ada
artists,
budayawan, ada teman-teman jurnalis,
and the
ada para
journalists,
pemret, para aktivis mahasiswa,
and activists
dan
and
semuanya
students.
sedang menyuarakan kegelisahan itu.
Everyone is voicing their
Kewajiban kita Bapak
anxiety.
Ibu untuk menjaga. Karena kalau kita merasakan itu, rasanya demokrasi harus kita pastikan
We have
bahwa
to
demokrasi
ensure that the
bisa
democracy
baik meskipun sekarang
should be
belum
well
baik-baik saja.
maintained.
Kita harus sampaikan itu. Saya tenang kok. Dan kami ini tenang semuanya.
I am
Karena kami sangat
calm
yakin
and we are
ada
all
rakyat Indonesia
calm.
bersama kami untuk menjaga demokrasi
We
di negeri
believe
ini.
all Indonesians are with us to
Bapak Ibu yang sangat saya
guard this
hormati, perjalanan
democracy.
demokrasi ini memang kadang-kadang lurus, kadang-kadang
Sometimes
berliku,
the democracy is
seperti
going on a
aliran
straight
air.
path, sometimes it's going
Tapi
on a
percayalah,
winding road.
air yang mengalir itu, dia akan mengikuti arah batinnya.
But the water will flow.
Dia
according
tidak
to
akan
its
bisa
stream.
dibendung dengan cara apapun.
Water will not be able to.
Dan kalau bendungan itu dia paksakan, dia
And if
akan
someone
tetap
force
mencari jalannya sampai tiba di muara.
to build a dam, the water
Muara
will
itulah muara
overflow.
demokrasi yang hari ini kita idam-idamkan.
The water will
Dan
go
tentu
to the
saja
way
inilah
of democracy.
kesepakatan hari ini yang mesti kita jaga bersama.
And we should
Bapak Ibu,
maintain the democratic process.
saya ingin sampaikan
I would like
dalam
to
kesempatan yang
deliver
berbahagia ini,
in this joyous moment
setelah
that
ini kita mesti bisa memastikan
after
bahwa
this
arah
moment
reformasi mesti kita tuntaskan.
we should continue with the reform.
Demokrasi yang berjalan
process.
jurdil,
The democracy
situasi yang bisa
process
berjalan
should
pada
be
rel,
fair and square,
dan kita selenggarakan dengan betul-betul membawa integritas
and we should
yang
implement it
jauh
with
sekali dari
good
unsur KKN.
integrity.
Harus kita pastikan.
We should ensure
Inilah
it's
amanat
happening.
reformasi dan inilah amanat
This is
konstitusi
the
yang
mandate
sekarang
of
kita
reform
pegang.
era, and we
Dan
should
tentu
stick to it.
kita mesti menyelamatkan seluruh golongan,
We
seluruh
should
kelompok
save
masyarakat,
all
dan
groups,
bagaimana sejatinya
all
kita menjaga
communities.
NKRI. Bapak Ibu, saudara sekalian,
Ladies and gentlemen,
diam
distinguished
itu
guests,
bukanlah pilihan.
being
Dan
silent
bicara,
is not an
ungkapkan,
option.
dan laporkan praktek-praktek tidak baik
We should
yang akan mencederai
voice
demokrasi.
up, speak up, and report any
Saya terima kasih karena
irregularities
pasangan nomor
and
1
frauds in the
dan
election.
pasangan nomor 2 punya komitmen yang sama. Kami
We
sangat
share
senang.
the same opinion
Mari
as
kita
candidate
tunjukkan integritas
pair
dan
number
kejujuran
1 and number
itu
2.
sampai dengan pikiran, batin, dan perkataan kita. Bapak Ibu, sekali lagi saya ulang, karena dalam kontestasi ini buat kami, ini bukan persoalan Ganjar, bukan persoalan Mahfud,
For us, this
bukan
is more
sekedar
than
hanya
just
persoalan kekuasaan.
our problems.
Ini adalah persoalan masa
This is
depan Indonesia yang mesti kita jaga
the
bersama.
problem of Indonesia
Mohon
and the
doa,
future generation.
mohon dukungannya.
We ask for your prayer, your
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
support.
Insya Allah pasangan Ganjar Mahfud siap untuk melaksanakan
We
itu.
are ready to implement the mandate.
Izinkan saya untuk mengakhiri dengan pantun.
And I would like to
Dan
end this
jagonya
with
pantun adalah
a
Pak Mahfud.
quatrain,
Silakan Pak.
which will be read by Mahfud.
Alhamdulillah, kami dapat nomor 3, ada dua pantun penutup. Hukum yang tegak, harapan kita. Sejahtera merata, idaman bersama. Ganjar Mahfud pilihan kita. Gotong royong pilih nomor 3. Satu lagi. Membakar seafood dari Palu ke negeri Cina naik pesawat. Kalau Ganjar Mahfud menang pemilu, dukungan ke Palestina makin menguat. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Merdeka!
Ending on a high note there, all three presidential remarks from each respective number, pair number 1, 2, and 3. And for the final part of our special report this evening, I'd like to go for the final statements to each of our guests in the program. First, to Mr. Nicholas. Nicholas, you've paid attention to all three remarks, which essentially each and every one of them highlighted the importance of paying close attention to possibility of frauds. Why do you think that is, Mr. Nicholas?
It is really look like that they show their original profile. they show that the original skill, how to convince the people in rhetoric using the the public podium. The substance of what they address is not. There is no new, and there is no philosophical value in that. But that is such kind of their belief. They want to address to the people that is the way they will do, and how to gain the support from the people to win this general election, I think. But the long journey of this campaign until finish into the final solution is not quite easy for three of them, because three of them having such kind of suspect in the real condition at the moment for not quite good in the implementation of this general election process. So they all hope to only the KPU as the implementer, but that is not only the factor of success in this general election. The whole, what you call it, the smart people and the people organization is much more significant how to make such a story of this general election in the days ahead, I think. But what they're trying to do is, that is the maximum the way they do it on this event, I think. That is my impression from generally the three candidates at the moment. This is, I think.
And lastly, I'd like to go over to Mr. Wasisto. Mr. Wasisto, the official campaign period will start in less than 2 weeks on the 28th of November 2023. How do you think these ballot numbers will help shape their campaigns, their trails of getting the most of these last 75 days of campaign periods for these three pairs of candidates?
I just checked my social media timeline and it showed that many netizens already evaluated this choice and the number of the pair. So I think it is as already official run on social right now, Mas Rahmat, because soon that the pair receive their number, as soon as possible the netizen can able to speak up their affiliation or number preferred to the election in February. So I think thanks to the social media, the campaign can be officially started now, and then the most concern that for the election is how the pair could committed avoiding politicization of identity, because when the pair show their gesture, their finger by showing their intention, it seems that it is also possible to conduct identity politics again. But it's back again to the pair how they can minimize this sentiment, because but all the public really worried that the heightened political identity can be rise again in the next election.
All right. Well, that is all the time that we have for this special program. Allow me to extend our gratitude to the researcher at the National Research and Innovation Agency, or BRIN, Wasisto Raharjo Jati, and on the other side of the conversation, State Law academic, Mr. Nicholas Simanjuntak. Thank you both so much for your insights and time here on our special program. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for today.
Thank you all.
Thank you for. Thank you.
And that concludes our special program of the drawing evening for the special ballot numbers for the three presidential pairs for the upcoming simultaneous general elections here in Indonesia. I'm Rahmat Idris, live from capital Jakarta, Indonesia. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.